Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach, and I help equip seasoned pastors' wives so that they can have an authentic and harmonious life by having the clarity, the courage, and the confidence to stand on their own platform. Now, I'm laughing because I had sent something to the printer, right, and it wouldn't work, but then it decides to work now. So okay, go figure. Anyway, hello, 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 everybody. It is Sunday night and time for another First Lady Coach moment. Again, I'm Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach, and I equip seasoned pastors' wives to live an authentic and harmonious life by having that clarity and the courage and the confidence to stand on their own platform. Hope everybody's doing well. I wasn't out here last week because of Juneteenth and Father's Day. So I hope everybody had a fabulous, fabulous, and wonderful, wonderful Father's Day and Juneteenth. It was a great day to celebrate. It was hot here, but it was a great day to celebrate fathers and to celebrate our freedom. So as you're coming in, say hello. Let me know that you are there. Always feel free to comment in the chat box. Also, feel free to let me know that you watch the replay in case you have not watched it live. And as always, I love the interaction, so definitely feel free to chime in. So, how's everybody doing? Again, it is Sunday night and time for that First Lady Coach moment. So, tonight I am going to be talking about how three ways or how the traditional church can help the pastor's wife to have a fulfilling life, have a more fulfilling life. Now, we know that we are living in the year 2022, and things obviously are not the same as they were back in the day when I was growing up, observing the things that I saw that my pastors' wives were dealing with, or just some of the things that they had to do. For instance, there were lots of things that they were responsible for in the church. They seemed to have a dress code, of course, that they seemed to have to follow. Also, they had to be at certain places that their husband had to be all the time. And again, this is in more of a traditional church. I grew up in a traditional church, and I'm in a church now that is traditional, has a little bit of nostalgia, as my husband says, with a splash of contemporary. But it is a Baptist church, and Baptists do things Baptist way. All right. So, anyway, tonight I'm here to talk about how the church can help that pastor's wife to have a more fulfilling life. Not that we don't have fulfilling lives now, but we have to make sure that we have that authentic and fulfilling life. That is why I'm out here every week talking about how we can help seasoned pastor's wife, new pastor's wife to have that more authentic and harmonious life. You've heard me say it over and over and over. But there are some things that the church can do in order to help her to have that authentic life. So again, as you're coming, say hello. Hey there. Hi, good to have you. Good to have you join in, whether you're joining in either by Facebook or by YouTube, or if you are joining in by LinkedIn or even Instagram. Good to see you. And again, say hi. Let me know that you're there. So let's get started talking about how the traditional church, or even the church in general, can help the pastor's wife to have that more fulfilling life. So the very first thing that churches can do, again, because times have changed, my mom and I used to have conversations all the time, and she says, you all don't have to deal with some of the things that I had to deal with. And my great grandmother was a pastor's wife. And then I had an aunt that was a pastor's wife. So I've had some pastor's wives that I have come behind that I've learned that they definitely say, yeah, you all don't have to deal with some of the things we did. But again, we still have several things to deal with. So the first thing I would suggest is that you give her some room to be her authentic self. Don't expect your pastor's wife to be like the last one that you had, or the pastor's wife that you knew growing up. Give her some room to be her authentic self. So whether that is her dress, right? We no longer step off into church with those giant hats and the full matching suit with the matching purse and rhinestones and all this stuff. I know there are churches that still do it, and there are some who that is their comfort zone to wear those kinds of things. But don't expect her to look like other pastors' wives that you've known. And again, whether that is her dress, whether it is what she does in the church. So often in churches, they deliberately would put the pastor's wife over the children's department or over the women's ministry. And that might not even be her gift. So give her some room to say what her gifts are and what it is that God has called her to do within the church, and do not try to decide that for her. So just because the last pastor's wife you had was the one that worked in the church and worked in the kids ministry or whatever she did, don't expect the next one to come behind her and do the same thing. Can I get an amen somewhere? I know there's a first lady out here who somebody has tried to box you in, and you weren't allowed to be yourself. Whether it was expectations that you had of her, expecting her to do certain things, or again, expecting her to look a certain way or act a certain way. Again, we all have unique personalities, unique temperaments that God has placed in each and every one of us, and we have to be true to ourselves. If we are not true to ourselves, we are going to be miserable. And that's no way to have a fulfilling life, is it? No way to have a fulfilling life. All right. So again, the first thing that churches can do, and again, even spouses, because sometimes the spouse can be the one that's the challenge because they don't want their wife to seem different than what their image of a pastor's wife is. That happens. It happens a lot. I speak with a lot of pastors' wives who maybe sometimes it's their husband who is the one who is not letting them be their authentic self. So again, the church can do it. And again, if you are one who has had that expectation, drop it and just let her be herself. Let her be herself. And I guarantee you, she will definitely be much happier. Okay, can I get an amen somewhere? Did anybody leave me an amen? All right. Okay, so then the second way that you can help your pastor's wife to have a more fulfilling life is to support her to get the resources that she needs. Now, whenever men become ministers, or even the women, if they become ministers, typically there are things that they can do to educate and train themselves. So they can go to seminary school. There are things within the church structure oftentimes that are available to them, such as district activities or state activities or even national activities. There are things that are available to him to help him to grow. And again, a lot of times it may be going to seminary school or something like that. But there is no such thing for pastor's wife, which is why I created my coaching programs, because again, there is nothing out there. There is not a pastor's wife 101 class except for the one I have. There is not one for seasoned wives except for the one I have. And again, there are some people that are out doing things, but support her to get the resources she needs. Now, I know that when we go to our district conferences and maybe state conferences and national conferences, regardless of what denomination you are, you may have some classes or something that's available to you. Now, I know I'm going to get in trouble behind this, but I got to say this, okay? So first of all, I'm digressing a little bit. First of all, a church conference is not a vacation. If a wife goes to the church conference with her husband, it is not a vacation. Most likely she is having to attend something or the other, or she's spending all the time alone because her husband is at the meeting, or again, because she doesn't really have anybody to hang out with. But typically there are some things that are available for ministers' wives at the conventions. And again, the design is to be helpful to help her. But recently there was a Baptist convention. It was the Congress, and it is a place where you can go and learn. And they usually have some courses that will help individuals who are going for training. So they had a conference this week. And so I asked my husband, since he was registered, to send me a list of the classes that they were having for the ministers' wives. And these are the classes that they had. Ministers' wives and Christian ethics. That was the first class. The second class was the minister's wife as a role model. Okay. And then the third one was the minister's wife as a teacher, leader in the local church. Now, those were probably good classes, but in order to help her to have that more fulfilling life, we got to do more than this. We got to give her some things that are going to help her to live, to help her to thrive. Again, I know that is designed to teach biblical classes, but we get plenty of biblical classes by being in church, in Bible school, in I said Bible school, didn't I? Sunday school and Wednesday night Bible study. We get lots of teaching. I don't know many pastors' wives who need necessarily to get more Bible classes in them, because we get plenty of them, right? But we've got to do more than that. We've got to give her some resources that help her to live. So churches, we should support. If a pastor's wife has a need to get some additional training or something like that, churches should be willing to support her just like they do her husband. Again, she's not on the payroll, but again, if you want her to have that more fulfilling life, and we should care enough to want her to have that more fulfilling life, right? Then churches should be willing to support her with whatever resources that she feels like might be helpful to her. And we have to not be afraid to ask for things that we need. If we need something that's going to help us to be a better wife, a better pastor's wife, a better leader, then we should be willing to ask for those things and not be afraid, because again, there are things available. And again, once through my coaching programs, I have a pastor's wife 101 as well as those for seasoned wives. Not trying to toot my own horn here, but this is why I do what I do, because I just don't want any wives to be out there by themselves and not have the resources that they can have in order to have that more fulfilling and a happier life. You read article after article after article about pastors' wives being lonely, feeling like they are second class, feeling like imposters, feeling like that they're not supported. So why not help to support them? All right, I'm going to get off of that now before I get in trouble. But again, help her to have those resources that she needs in order to have that more fulfilling life. There's again no reason why the woman who walks beside the man of God should have a miserable life. Again, can I get an amen? All right. And then finally, the last thing that we can do to help her to have that more fulfilling life is to realize that she's a wife, right? She has a marriage and she needs to have a fulfilling marriage. She needs to have a marriage that is sound and a marriage that is happy. Now, I know for years, something that has always bothered me is sometimes when I am just talking to different people and I talk to them about what I do to help pastors' wives or to equip. I equip pastors' wives is what I do. Sometimes when I'm talking about what I'm doing, they will tell me a story about how they know of a pastor's wife who just stays to herself, and that she seems so unhappy, and that it looks like she's just had to pull herself to get to church, or that she struggles with this and that. I'm not trying to hear that. This woman is a wife, right? And every wife deserves a happy marriage and a fulfilling marriage. So support her in having that. So what that might mean is that the church needs to give the pastor the time to spend with the wife, right? Pastors should have vacations. Pastors should be able to take off on a weekend if they want to. Think about what a pastor's wife deals with if her husband can't ever take off on the weekend. And if she works a 9 to 5 and the only time she has is the weekend, that cuts out on the time that she can give to her marriage, or that he can give to the marriage. So again, support her as a wife. Support her as a mother. Don't talk about her kids. Don't talk about her, right? Support her and give her the time that she needs with her husband. And again, sometimes it is our husbands. Sometimes they get so busy that they don't do some of the fun things that couples should be doing. So don't interrupt their dinner time, or don't call him when there's something that is not necessarily something that he needs to worry about. Let them have their family time. Support her to be a wife. Support her to be in a marriage, right? So those are three things that I believe that especially traditional churches must support for the pastor's wife in order for her to have a more fulfilling life. And again, I'm probably those of you who are listening to me are probably saying, amen, that's what I need. But we need to help sometimes our church members to understand what our needs are. We need to be able to voice them. We need to be able to ask for what we need as well, rather than just accepting the status quo because it's our husbands on the payroll. But they get a lot of work out of us anyway. Sometimes we're 2-for-1 special because we do so many things in the church. All right. Anyway, I know I've got myself in trouble, but that's okay, because again, I am here to equip the pastor's wife, especially those of us who have been in this journey for a while. I want to equip you to have that authentic and harmonious life that I talk about so much, by having that clarity, that confidence, and the courage to stand on your own platform. And again, if the pastor's wife has a platform that's not necessarily in the church, let her do what God has created her to do. All right, that's all I have for this evening. Thanks, you all, for coming out on tonight. Again, I am Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach, and I equip seasoned pastors' wives to have that authentic and harmonious life that I love and I talk about so much, by having that clarity and the confidence and the courage to stand on their own platform and to be themselves. Right? The courage to be themselves. The last thing you want to do is feel like an imposter, but just be yourself. All right. So I come out here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Time to just have a conversation, what I call the First Lady Coach moment. So join me on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time. And I'd love to have you join in on the conversation. Definitely feel free to leave comments. Hey, thanks, Ella. Thanks. Who is that there? I can't see everything at one time. But thanks so much for joining me on tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. It's cool out here. I'm going to get outside and hang out with my husband. So look, I'm the one that's taking time away but I'm going out here to hang out with my husband. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next time right here. Again, if you watch the replay, let me know you watch the replay, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, be blessed. Bye-bye.